What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 66 of The Rise to Glory, here with Gibraltar Apex. And today, I have for you guys what I expect to be the last live conned Champions League game of the year. It's Galatasaray at home. We lost to them 2-0 in the away leg, which wasn't a bad performance. They currently sit third in our group. Who knows, maybe we can cause a bit of an upset today. It would be an amazing feat if we could. There is still one more game to play after this, but it's against Juve. Don't really fancy taking them on again in a live com. I feel like I've had enough of a spanking for 1 year. Let's have a look at the results. 5 since the last episode. The first one, 3-0 against Red Imps. Good performance there. Mark Stewart with a brace. McVitie getting a goal and then getting injured. Twisting his ankle, out for 3 to 4 weeks. A big miss for us. And that is a bit of a trend that's kind of emerged just this season, really. The injuries have been pretty darn ridiculous. Anyway, the next game was a 3-0 win against Gibraltar Phoenix. Worth noting in this game, Paul Smith sent off 2 bookings in the 61st minute. He got 1 for the actual tackle, then 1 for protesting to the ref, which isn't great. As a result, he was suspended, but he did contribute, I guess, a little bit in this game, but even without his presence, we still did well. Mark Stewart grabbing a brace again. The next result, the only Champions League game you guys have missed so far this year, a 5-1 defeat away from home against Atleti. Disappointing result, but at the end of the day, the Madrid side, they were the better team throughout. We actually drew the second half 1-1. Unfortunately, however, 3 early goals. I think it was 3-0 by the 12th minute. I mean, that was game over at that point, really. Anyway, to wrap up these results, 2 really good results, 4-0 and 7-0. First one against Manchester 62, Diego Costa grabbing all 4 and then straining a stomach muscle and getting injured. Yeah, I said it was a recurring theme. More on that in a second. The next game, 7-0 win. Good performance. Saganda coming into the squad. He's not actually in our Champions League side, unfortunately. But this guy we've got on loan from Sociedad for the year. He's not played much for us, and then he scored a hat-trick in this game on his debut, which wasn't too bad. He kind of came in as a 3rd, 4th, maybe even 5th choice striker, and him and Mark Stewart really put kind of Europa Point, College Europa, or Europa FC as I believe they're actually called in real life, to the sword, and we ended up winning that one 7-0. So at the moment in the league, 7 games played, 7 won, 29 goals scored, 0 against. Now, we've not scored as many goals as the last few years, but I really want to try and go an entire season without conceding. That's got to be the goal now. You know, we've played every single team bar 2 once, and we're almost a third of the way there. It's not too shabby. Anyway, as I mentioned, injuries have been a problem this year, and I mean, you just look through this side, but fair enough, some suspensions to talk about. Sean Jackson is out with a strained back, the American. I mean, that's a bad injury for us, 3 to 4 weeks. McVitie's out injured. Diego Costa's out injured. We've also got a few suspensions, including Mark Stewart, which really leave us kind of light on the ground in the attacker position. But the injuries have been a problem through this year. You saw them with the defence earlier on. Gary was out for a while. So I've decided to take action. And I'm in the process of sacking all 3 of my physios and just getting in 3 physios who all have the best stats in terms of physiotherapy. We need better staff members. We've got them coming in. Pretty excited about them. Actually, I think they're all female, thinking about it. I'm not sure. They might be. Anyway, we might touch upon that. We'll see if it makes a difference. I don't know if it is, but it's good to actually get some good physiotherapists in, and hopefully that's going to make a difference because, well, if we just have a quick look at our current physios, they're not that great at their jobs. A lot of our staff's contracts run out at the end of this season. I think I am going to use this year as a time kind of to reflect, to review every single coaching member and maybe make some changes. Scouting-wise, we have some pretty good scouts here, but if we can improve it in any way, I want to do that. You look at our chief scout, or not even our chief scout, just one of our scouts. It's awful. A few of the players, these scout members, they've been around a while. I've tried to keep it to Spanish and Gibraltarian scouts where I can. But the bottom line is, with the club expanding like we are, going pro, it's probably about time I look to really bolster the staffing of the club and, well, look to get in the best coaches we can for the benefit of the club. So that's something I'm definitely going to be looking into. Anyway, today we are going to be taking on Galatasaray, as I mentioned. Let's get into the game. In terms of the team, as I mentioned, again, injuries, suspensions, we're a bit light on the ground. Up front for this game, we actually go with Adam Smith and Kuka. Adam Smith came in on loan this year. Was a little bit worried he wasn't actually going to get that much football for us, although he did make some appearances early on, as you guys may remember, in the qualification kind of stages of the Champions League. He's going to get a chance in the main competition today. And alongside him, Kuka comes into the side. That is, of course, with various injuries. to the likes of Diego Costa. You've also got Mark Stewart out, suspended. Sean Jackson's out injured. It's been pretty bad, to be honest, on the attacking front. Part of me actually wants to drop Kuka in favour of Ben Connolly, and actually, I think we're going to do that. Ben Connolly match fit. I feel like he deserves to play. He's a Gibraltar legend. You know, I think he's played in a continental game pretty much every season throughout this save. This year, has he made an appearance in a continental game yet? He has. He's appeared off the bench twice. He's going to get another chance here, though, to maybe have an impact. This time, starting for us. We're at home. Looking at the odds, Galatasaray favourites. Hardly surprising. Worth noting, they have been struggling a little bit in their group. And in our group, to be honest, I'm hoping we can do something here. Looking at their team, Diego Reyes, a name that stands out. Prayet, I can never say his name. I know he's been linked with Liverpool a lot in real life. Who knows? By the time you're watching this, he might have been signed. Chances are he hasn't, though. Let's be honest. This is Liverpool we're talking about. Elsewhere, they've got Mokoena, who's the South African regen, who we kind of mentioned before, was a player I was looking at one point. So anyway, opposition instructions, going to let the assistant do them. They are playing their 4-3-3. All narrow kind of midfielders and all narrow strikers. Hopefully we can maybe expose them out wide. Part of me actually wants to play on attacking for this game and really go for it. In fact, we're already on attacking because I've left it on from last time, from the last league game. And we're going to stick with it. I feel like this is the way to go. And actually, we might have a chance here early on. Connolly, Lorenko whips it in. Back post, headed away. For a second, I believed. For a second, I almost thought we were going to get a goal. Worth noting that Lorenko's back from international duty. He was away in the, I can't even remember what the African matches were that he was playing in now. He was playing in the qualifying games, though. In terms of the rest of the team, it's fairly standard. Paul Smith, the Australian's back in the side. I feel like he was suspended last game. He was missing for some reason, I'm sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm making stuff up. Oh dear, Bouchard gives away a penalty. What is with our discipline? It's a serious problem. And I don't know what I mean, is it just that we're not very good at football compared to the teams we're playing, so we have to foul them? I mean, that seems like the logical explanation, but the amount of red cards, penalties, etc. we've given away in Europe over the years, I don't know if it's exceedingly high. I don't know if it's because I focus on these games a lot more and because I live-com a lot more of them, so they kind of stand out in my mind when sending-offs do happen. I'd love to watch back all the episodes of European qualifiers and the European games in the Europa League and the Champions League to try and work out how often we have sendings off and such. Because it must be quite high. But anyway, it's still only 1-0. We are at home, of course. We still have a time here to try and make something happen. Although they're on the attack again here, Galatasaray. And Torrico this time with the finish. Of course, last time we played them, it was, what was the score? It was 2-0. It was 2-0. It was 2-0. And now it's 2-0 here. I mean, we want to improve on the last game, really. Especially at home in front of the fans. We want to give them a performance to remember. I am now going to decide that playing on attacking was a terrible idea and switch to our 4-4-2 counter. We'll see how it serves us. I'm hoping Galatasaray, you know, they might think the job's done here. They might get a bit complacent, throw men forward, trying to score as many goals as they can, and maybe we can expose them at the back. Looking at it, since the change, it's kind of evened out the game a little bit. Perhaps I'm going to regret not playing on counter from the start. It does look like at half-time as well, it's going to be 2-0 here. I'm going to tell the players I expect to see a much better performance in the second half. I mean, it was an okay performance, I guess. You've got to consider, I guess, the fact that we're missing so many strikers. It's a serious problem, and it does hurt us, especially going forward. We've certainly got a blunted attack in this game, but at the same time, I mean, you want to see more than what we're seeing here. We're going to make some subs. Connolly's had a mare, to say the least. I'm going to bring in Kuka. Worth noting, Gary on the bench here. Not fit to start. Not match fit, really. Still recovering a little bit. But he is now back in the team and back in contention. And he's a player we've missed. It's a real shame that he's going to have missed the majority of our Champions League games. But at the same time, very happy to have him back, the Spaniard. He's declined a little bit as a result of his torn groin muscle. But at the same time, I'm hoping he can bounce back. And I'm hoping that when he comes back into the side, he can galvanise us in the league and really be kind of one of the important players that he kind of established himself to be in the centre of our midfield. Anyway, there's 15 minutes left here, and it's still 2-0. I mean, there's still time for us to try and get two. Smith here, options on ahead. Tries to thread in Smith number 2, and Smith number 2 given a gift and misses it. I mean, I can't help but feel if we had Stewart or Jackson up front for us, it would make a big, big difference in this game. Unfortunately, of course, they're not here. They're not here, so we can't even dwell on that. I don't know why I've even suggested that, although we do have a goal here. Tom Lees Second goal of the season for him. He scored on his birthday. I love the fact the commentators mentioned the fact he scored on his birthday. Had no idea it was his birthday today in game. Well done, Tom. Happy birthday. You are going to get a cake regardless. The kind of makeshift captain at the moment with the goal for us. I mean, it's 2-1 now. Can we dream? Dare we believe? I mean, there is probably an argument to say I should be playing on attacking now, but we're going to stick with the counter-attacking system. Galatasaray coming on the attack here. Arunda to Stefan to Bruno Motta. They're just kind of probing at the edge of the area here. Galatasaray tormenting us, and that is an insane finish by Torrico. I can't complain about that. That's such a good finish. I think he's smashed it into the top left corner. Keeper has absolutely no chance. I'm not sure if it's first time. He lets the ball roll beyond him. A narrow angle. I mean, it's a great finish. It's a punishing finish as well, because we've had more chances than Galatasaray. Our strikers just haven't been quite as clinical as Torrico's been right there. Anyway, I don't know if there's going to be time for this sub, but if there is, I want to bring on Gary. Oh, there is time. Excellent. Gary coming on for 15 seconds. Gets a little bit of time for match fitness. I have no idea what the effect of match fitness is if you bring a player on for 15 seconds. I imagine it doesn't affect it at all, if I'm honest. Can we break here? Kuka, run. We can't. We can't. It's going to finish 3-1 here. Not a bad performance. We scored again in Europe, which is good. We actually gave Galatasaray a fairly good running there and kind of really challenged them. I mean, the fact it's finished 3-1, I almost feel is a little bit harsh if you just look at the stats. Of course, stats only tell you so much about a game. In reality, it's kind of on me for playing on counter. Anyway, you can see that we have got our physios being sacked, as I mentioned, and now we can get our new physios in. We are sorted. We actually have good physios. Actually, I know this one, Sangai Patel, because she is physio, I believe, at QPR in real life, and she's one of the best physios you can get early on in the game. Maybe not anymore. Apparently, she's now the head physio at Corby Town. I think it might have been FM15 or 14 you could get her in, and she was a really, really good physio. She's actually, like, she was doing the physio work for Weymouth, so now she's coming to Gibraltar. She's loving it. And we also have, is it Amy something or other? Amy Taylor? Amy Taylor coming in. Again, 19 physiotherapy. One of the best physios we could attract, playing or working, as you can see, at Oxford City in the non-leagues with an expired contract. I don't know what it was about these physios having like 20 and 19 physiotherapy and managing in the leagues they were, but we're going to capitalise on it, and hopefully that's going to mean that we don't get as many injuries, and if we do get injuries, players recover quicker. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap things up from me for this live com. I don't think I'm going to do the game against Juventus next time around. That's the last Champions League group stage game. Unfortunately, with that defeat to Galatasaray, there is no chance of us finishing third in our group, which is a shame in some ways. Not entirely surprising if we're being honest with ourselves. In terms of when we'll be back, it might be for the College Europa game in mid-February. The reason I might do that game is because right now at least, or at least I believe, yeah, College Europa, our nearest rivals, along with Gibraltar Lions. I'm not sure. We'll go with the flow. It'll be in February time, I imagine. Hopefully you have enjoyed this commentary as always. If you have, smash a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you made of this episode. If you've got any words of consolidation for another thumping in the Champions League, they're appreciated right now. And yeah, that is all from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It is me, Jack. Hopefully I'll see you guys for episode 67, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.